Hi friends, this is Ashley. Welcome to Live at Your Edge. How are you doing this week? It's early February as of the time that I'm recording this, and I have been thinking about this idea that's related to how we accept what's happening in the world and in our lives. It's really fascinating to me because it has this kind of like duality to it, where there's like these two things that seem like direct opposite realities to one another. And yet I'm finding that for me, the most like aligned thing is to occupy both states at the same time. And I think it is so interesting to me right now at this point in time, because it's this threshold moment where we're sort of stepping out of the older realities, the old realities, right? The way things used to be, the way they used to feel, the way people have operated, the way we have oriented to things, the old thinking, the old ways of doing things, the old way we've organized society and our relationships to each other and our relationships to ourselves, all this stuff, how we accept things, to me feels super relevant right now. This is the moment when we're dreaming in the new ways. It's happening right now. It's so exciting. I think it's so exciting. It's also terrifying sometimes because as the old stuff falls, we don't know what's coming. And it can feel completely destabilizing, like completely unmooring, to feel like the old's gone, but there's something new hasn't arrived yet. That's a very sort of shaky kind of feeling for a while. So let me tell you what I'm actually talking about. I'll share my own like sort of personal relationship to things and sort of give you something to feel into and see if it resonates for you or not. There's a part of me that now feels much more at peace with the way things are in the world, right? Like I used to not be able to stand it. In my like 20s and 30s, for a lot of that time, I just could not stand the way certain aspects of the world was. It was like unbearable to me to even think about the way civilization has harmed nature and is continuing to harm nature, and the immense and deep and lasting damage that is being done every single second. It was like I could barely even stand to think about it. And yet my career was in wildlife conservation, so I was immersed in it all the time. So I clearly could stand it enough, but it was very tough to be in that space all the time because it was in my face and I found it so painful that I could barely stand it. As I've gotten older and been on this healing path, this growth path, this self-evolution orientation to life, things have changed. I now see things through a different lens, right? I see things through this almost bird's eye perspective at times, right? I'm not trying to say all the time, but overall, I have this contextualized way of seeing reality, which is that like we are meant to be here. Humans are meant to be here on Earth. We're here for a reason, and the way things are playing out is not accidental. It's happening for a reason. This is what's meant to be. And so how to be with it, right? Because I can work for a million years, my whole lifetime in wildlife conservation, and still my impact will still be relatively small. I cannot change everything that is happening. That is not possible, and that's not my work to do. You know, I used to be so focused on like, I need to have what I think, what my little human brain thinks is the biggest impact possible. But more maturity is settling, let's put it that way. And it feels more like a little bit of a wiser way of relating, which is like, I need to find what's my work to do, what calls me, and focus on that. Because the perfect way that everything will play out and everyone's calling will overlay and interplay together and will create the new reality is perfect. So there's more trust in the process for me, at least. And also as I've, sat with a lot of different teachers and sort of taken in, like through that transmission process, like the wisdom in what they're saying, and that sort of integrates into my wiring, I feel more at peace with the fact that this is the way the world is. It is this way. So that's the one piece. is I find it really serves me to keep nurturing that orientation, that sense of peace with things exactly as they are, right? Not needing to change things, just being in them and experiencing them. That's really been supportive for my nervous system. I don't know if you relate to that too. It feels like I'm less like internally agitated. And so that's true, right? In my system, in my body. And so the second piece is there's no way in hell that I just accept that the way things are now has to be the way things will be. Do you feel that too? It's like that fiery passion about the fact that the world, we are changing the way we're doing things, and the way things are done or have been done historically and hence are still being done that way does not have to stay that way. There's new stuff coming in. We can keep evolving the way we build cities and interact with nature and treat other human beings, and the way our government treats human beings. And it's like there's so much, it's like everything, right? Literally everything. And there is this fiery passion that I have for the fact that like some of the stuff does not have to be this way. For me, because I am so passionate about nature and wildlife, I have a big thing about the way roads are constructed and the way a lot of our cities are designed. And I absolutely do not accept, for example, I do not accept that roads have to be dangerous for wildlife. That's the way it's always been. And so a lot of times I'll hear people say things like, well, that's just part of it. Like we just have to accept that. No, okay, like absolutely not. Like I don't accept that at all, because it's like that visioning thing that we can do, right? Our bodies can do this visioning. Like I have a vision that is completely different. I know deep in myself that that's not true, that it has to be like that. That's bullshit. I call complete bullshit on that. It does not have to be that way. There are a million ways that the way we build our through our communities could be built and conceived of and interacted with differently. I know that. I don't need to read it in a book. I know it, right? That kind of knowing, that deep inside my inner being, I know that that's true. I'm so passionate about this. I'm so passionate about the way humans and our society interacts with nature and wildlife. And so I think this is so fascinating, because I think you can probably feel like there's like a duality here, right? It's like on the one hand, total peace and acceptance. This is how the world is, and I can just be in it. And be in the peaceful, calm feeling of that. And I can have this fiery passion for how things could be, the potential, right? Like it's visioning. And I love this, because I really feel like the way we vision, leaning into that visioning and that refusal to, you know what it is? It's the refusal to accept that the status quo is the way things have to be. That's what it is. It's not a refusal to accept that is how it is, but it's a refusal to accept that that's the way it has to be and there's nothing we can do about it. We are visioning the new world in. It's happening right now. Like these years right now, this is the time when our passion, our vision, our way of conceiving of the way we are in the world is what will bring in the new world. We're experiencing it in our minds and bodies first, and then we can create it. And so it's like the fuel that propels the creation of the new into reality. And I've just been sitting in this for the last couple of days, and I was just like cleaning the kitchen, and I started thinking about how interesting this duality is, that both things are possible at the exact same time in our bodies. Is that not the coolest thing? It just, I think it's so interesting actually that human beings can occupy two states at once that feel, to our brains, to our minds, they seem like they are the opposite of one another. And they might even seem mutually exclusive of one another, right? But the mind sometimes can't quite get it, right? Like the mind has limitations, but we can experience it in our beings, in our bodies. And so we know it's possible. And it reminds me actually that I heard one of my favorite teachers, I think it was Sabrina Lynn, talking about the fact that more of this is becoming possible in this time. Our bodies, as we're evolving in this moment of like really rapid human evolution, there's this increased capacity for being present with multiple truths at once. And just talking about this with you, I'm just reminded of that. And I think it's so beautiful. It's like our bodies and our minds, our psyches, our inner beings are expanding and growing. And that's what we're really talking about when we talk about human evolution, right? We're talking about how human consciousness is expanding. So I hope that y'all are doing well in this moment. A lot of teachers are talking about February as like a pretty intense shift moment. Moment of a lot of change starting to come in more rapidly, right? The Chinese New Year is coming in February, and we're shifting into a new year, the year of the fire horse, which is really interesting to me. I think it's going to be, it might be a little intense to say the least, but it's all going to be, I think it's going to be really, really interesting. So thank you so much for being here. I'm always so grateful to get to be here with you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you on the next episode.